I'm currently deep in research mode, searching for new gems for that next cycle. When we do get these, the final bottom of this cycle, we do want to be able to position ourselves in the altcoins that we think will outperform next year and beyond. And I believe that the Cosmos ecosystem is going to be home to some of these gems. And that's why today I'm presenting to you Atom. I'm going to explain what the ecosystem does and share with you some upcoming exciting projects launching in the Cosmos ecosystem. Because if you don't understand Atom, I think now is a perfect time to really start understanding it so we can search for these Cosmos altcoins. I think some of the technological advantages that the Cosmos ecosystem has really makes it an attractive place to build projects. And we're going to see some of the strongest projects, just like we have in the past with Terra Luna, Kujira, Secret Network, etc. I think some of those projects that launch on Cosmos over the coming years are going to be strong performers. So what better time to talk about Cosmos than today, than with their 2.0 upgrade, the biggest upgrade in many years for Cosmos, basically since launch. They totally revamped their tokenomics. They launched a new white paper, and it all comes after the Cosmoverse, which is the annual Cosmos conference, which happened in Medellin, Colombia. It's ending tomorrow, so it's the final day of the Cosmos conference. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of announcements today. There's already been a few major announcements, which I want to discuss in today's video, because a lot of people, myself included, turned a blind eye to Cosmos for quite some time. I won't make that same mistake in this next cycle, because I'm aware that a lot of these projects are going to be the strong performers, and we want to position ourselves accordingly. Obviously, since it's the conference, and usually typically in conference fashion, we do see a run-up pre-conference, and we usually see a little bit of a sell the news event post-conference. Interestingly, though, even though we're still during the conference, and yes, it could sell off further as, you know, some people take profits on the pump, we still have seen a nice continuation pattern here along this base trend line. Since the bottom in June, Cosmos is up 144%. Actually, one of the strongest performers. Now, today's video is more about the ecosystem, not the Cosmos token itself, but I do want to explain how Cosmos works so you guys have a better understanding of the ecosystem. Because when you're building projects on a chain, you want to build on the chain that has the most suited needs for your project, and also the best technology for your specific project. So I want to talk about Cosmos, what it is, what it does, because not all of you may know. And then after that, we will get into some of the upcoming projects, and also have a little bit of a look at the ecosystem and what has been developing behind the scenes given this 2.0 announcement. Just before we get into all that fun stuff, we actually have a very, very good promotion for you guys where you can win up to, or not win, get airdropped $1,000 in Ethereum to trade with. All you need to do is deposit $1,000, at least $1,000, into your Banter derivatives wallet. So if you sign up using a ByBit link in the description, if you have a Banter referral link, you just go into your derivatives wallet on ByBit, you deposit $1,000 or more, and then you have an opportunity to claim your airdrop here of up to $1,000. So I think if you put in $1,000, you get a free $100 trade. Put in 2,000, you get a little bit more, and you can get up to 1,000 USDT, and you can go long with that, or you can go short with that on Ethereum. Maybe you want to go long into October, which is a historically good month. Maybe you want to go short thinking that there's new lows around the corner if you're following El Capo. Whatever you want to do, you can do it through ByBit and, you know, claim some free rewards here. I thought I'd mention that because who doesn't like free money? So if you've got a spare 1,000 lying around in a wallet somewhere, it's probably worth depositing just so you can get your hands on the airdrop. So remember, link in the description to access that through a Banter Bybit referral. Make sure you sign up. All right, let's get straight into it. What is Cosmos? That is the question we first have to answer. So Cosmos is basically a decentralized network of independent parallel blockchains, which means that each blockchain that runs parallel to each other is powered by a BFT consensus algorithm like Tendermint. So like a Phantom utilizes the BFT consensus algorithm, Cosmos does the same, but it stacks blockchains independently in a parallel fashion. This is their scalability solution as opposed to other EVM chains. So what Cosmos is doing is it's creating an ecosystem of blockchains. So their number one focus is interoperability. So similar to Polkadot, they want to create chains that can scale, interoperate with each other, and they don't want to silo blockchains. So they don't want to separate blockchains and have independent consensuses running. They want those blockchains to communicate with each other. And that is their vision for achieving those very high TPS numbers and a very robust ecosystem that can scale as opposed to other projects. So that's essentially what Cosmos aims to do. But there was a very, very good thread, and I want to go through some of the key points in this thread on the Cosmos ecosystem with Atom 2.0 coming out. It's a very good guide. Now, Nali's done an amazing job here, and he has some very good points. So essentially, he labels Cosmos the internet of blockchains, and he says, as the blockchain world grows exponentially, the speed and fluidity of navigation and exploration diminish, chains become congested, slow, and expensive. We saw this with what happened to Ethereum, with what's happened to even AVAX during the congestion, even Phantom, if you remember, during Solidly, although previously a very fast network, experienced a lot of congestion and slowness during those peak times. So what Cosmos wants to do is they want applications to be sovereign and free from the confines of other chains in order to, achieve maximum functionality, especially during times of high network usage. So essentially, they want to create a multi-chain future, and they believe that every application, this is very important, should host its own chain, and that every chain should be fluently able to communicate with one another. Now, this does two things. For the Cosmos token itself, it's not the most bullish thing, and this has been my knock on Cosmos for a while. It doesn't aim to accrue value at the base layer one. It accrues and at more better. Cosmos is better suited to accruing value at the application layer. So usually in crypto, there's been a theory for quite a long time that the layer one accrues the most value because that's where applications are being built. That's where the primary token is needed. That's where gas fees are burnt. With Cosmos, since there's such a focus on the application layer and building apps on the Cosmos ecosystem, I find that the value accrued from Cosmos tends to happen more on the application layer. So it means holding Cosmos sometimes isn't the best way to get exposure to the ecosystem. The best way to get exposure sometimes is through these altcoins, specifically with Cosmos. Some of the altcoins that are creating the best and most used products on the Atom ecosystem, they're going to be the ones that actually accrue value. And this is what makes the Cosmos ecosystem really exciting. And this is why the tech excites me. The tech doesn't excite me so I can ape into the Atom token necessarily. The tech excites me so we can get exposure to some of these upcoming projects that utilize the benefits of Cosmos's interoperability. Because a lot of these projects will work in tandem with each other and essentially communicate with each other, which creates a very seamless experience for the user. Like freedom, it creates flexibility, it lowers fees, and basically like you can design your application with limitless flexibility as opposed to using other chains. So the way that it works is developers can build on three chains. They can build on Santiment, they can build on the Cosmos SDK, which is the developer kit, or they can build on IBC. So Santiment is the language agnostic blockchain consensus engine. This means that developers can replicate applications on Santiment in whatever programming language they choose. The Cosmos SDK is a developer kit. So think of it as the framework for developing application-specific blockchains. This is what a lot of projects used, like Terra Luna, to build their projects, because you get the benefits of the security and the interoperability of the Cosmos chain without having to sacrifice anything. So it's a very flexible and simple way for developers to build. And then you have the IBC, which is one of Cosmos's SDK modules, which focuses on cross-chain communication within the network, allowing the flow of information with the internet of blockchains. It's very cool. There's a much bigger Exploring the Cosmos article on galaxy.com if you want to check it out. So then the question becomes, we know the future's multi-chain, as El Drogo is saying in the comments right now. We know that the future is interoperable, and we know that Cosmos, honestly, to this day, is probably the best example of that in action. Polkadot, although the tech is very good, it hasn't developed to the point that Cosmos has. And although DOT is actually leading for developer activity right now, Cosmos has been much stronger in terms of building out that ecosystem. And to me, the Cosmos tech is extremely impressive. So as I said, if these applications are going to accrue value on the application layer rather than the base layer, and I'll get into Atom's tokenomics when we talk about 2.0 later in the video, then we have to talk about some of these altcoins that we think are going to be strong performers. So there's three in this video that the DeFi investor pointed out, and then there's two that I want to point out that are already launched that I still think can exhibit growth off the back of Cosmos's strength. Essentially, the DeFi investor says, and this is his thread here, that protocols that built on Cosmos, they are independent and sovereign chains, so developers have full control. And because they are sovereign, they're not paying rent to the L1, which means the gas fees paid by the users are kept by the applications, major blessing for apps building on Cosmos. Unlike AVAX, where you need to lock up like a lot of AVAX tokens, although if you're on an AVAX subnet, you still don't have to pay an AVAX gas fees. With Cosmos, there is very little barrier to entry for building because Cosmos wants to incentivize development. That's why it's one of the most developed on protocols. Obviously, though, they do need to find their own validators, and in order to find a validator and for that validator to be run, you need Cosmos Atom tokens to verify that validator. So that's where the utility for Cosmos comes in. It's primarily through the staking rewards. So you get rewards from staking into a validator, which these projects need to utilize to launch. And then you also get airdrop rewards because upcoming projects like Celestia, for example, or some of these other ones we're going to talk about here, you potentially can get an airdrop from holding Atom tokens. That is the incentive to hold Atom tokens. In my opinion, not as strong as your incentive to hold an Ethereum token because you get more of a direct upside to the chain. But it is very good in order to incentivize development. And it's kind of refreshing in this space because clearly the Atom team isn't in here for like a quick pump of the Atom token. Many chains develop systems which have artificial buybacks or buyback systems in order to kind of get that hype or demand going for the token, and also at the same time eradicate some of the supply side inflation. Whereas Atom is kind of like, no, we just want to create an ecosystem. Hands off. We just want to create the best ecosystem, and the token comes second. Not as I said before, not as good for holders, but very good for developers. So some of the projects that are launching, that the DeFi investor thinks you should keep your eye on. Firstly, Celestia. I do think it's a very cool chain. It essentially is a DeFi L1 launching on Cosmos. It's a very cool project, so that's one to keep on your watch list. By the way, hot tip, guys, start creating watch lists of projects that haven't launched. This is a very hot tip, and you guys have to be doing this. So CoinGecko allows you to keep a watch list of projects that have launched. So that's a very good tool for monitoring current projects. For projects that haven't launched yet, for example, we have Sui and Aptos, those new L1s launching later down the track. We have a very strong AMM launching on Near Protocol soon. We have many great projects launching. Some of these Cosmos ones like Celestia. Start creating an Excel spreadsheet, or a Notes or a Notion, however you like to keep your data. I like to keep it on Excel. Start keeping an Excel spreadsheet of upcoming projects. So have a little list, call it upcoming, and then write down each project in order of importance, in your opinion. Write down the ecosystem, and then write down the expected date, and then join their Discords, because you can organize your Discord folders through projects. So you can have a folder on Discord which has upcoming projects, and in this Discord folder you can have 20 upcoming projects, and you just keep your eye on that. So once a week, every Sunday, you can allocate 10 minutes of time, and you just go through that Discord folder. And you look, okay, what's Celestia doing? Are they launching it? Oh, wow, they're doing a whitelist for loyal followers. Oh, I can actually join that and I can get airdrops. You can do this for many upcoming projects as well. So get that watch list of non-released projects that aren't on CoinGecko on your Excel, and get that Excel into Discord. Join these communities. You can also do folders on Telegram. I prefer Discord to Telegram, but if you prefer Telegram, you can do it there. That's just my hot tip, so you don't miss these, because it's one thing just watching this video right now and going, oh, cool, that's a cool project, and then forgetting about it tomorrow. The other thing, and the next step I want all of you to start taking, is putting these things into practice. Now, I'm not saying Celestia, for example, is the best project ever. To be honest, I'm just reading a thread of upcoming Cosmos projects, and I'll give you a couple of my own as well. But you still want to put them on notice to see what is happening in these ecosystems, because you can get airdrops, and you also can stay up to date with public launches, because a lot of the time these projects will have public rounds that come after the seed rounds where you actually have a chance to invest. And during a bear market, those can do massive multiples in the bull market. And that's one of the ways many investors from 2020 and 2019 got rich in 2021. So Celestia is one of them. The next one, which I like, is SeiNetwork. So this is using Cosmos SDK, which is the optimal environment for DeFi applications. So another kind of DeFi chain here. Very nice looking network. I had a look at this thread before. It was a very good thread. These Cosmos guys are putting out amazing content on Twitter, so I recommend following them as well and supporting them. And then Kujira, and this is the one that I'm much more knowledgeable on, and this is one that I've been talking about for quite a while, at least over the past few months. And that is essentially an L1 platform for community selected projects. So many community projects can launch on Kujira, and Kujira right now is also quite an effective AMM. So they have their AMM, their order book style platform. They have their kind of liquidity hunting platform where you can get discounts on projects, and they are already exhibiting massive growth. And honestly, the team has impressed me so much, so much since obviously launching on Luna, collapsing, then building back on Cosmos, and coming out 10 times stronger. So big ups to Kujira. And they're definitely on my accumulation watch list for next cycle. They're one of the top ones on my DeFi watch list. By the way, I am going to be going through these my DeFi watch list and altcoins over the next few weeks on the show, or over the next few months. I'm going to do like a weekly video where I break down the projects that are in my portfolio list. But I can tell you now, Kujira is one of them. And the other one is Mars Protocol. It just came to mind that Mars were one of the borrowing lending platforms launching on Luna. If you guys remember, Mars was going to be the biggest borrowing and lending platform on Terra, and they had the backing from Delphi Labs. They had a big backers. They had amazing devs, and then obviously when Luna collapsed, they kind of struggled a little bit because they already did their airdrop. They already had their staking, but what they're doing is they're launching on Cosmos now. And we're seeing this trend. A lot of Luna projects, since it was built on the Cosmos SDK, a lot of projects are now transferring those protocols over across to Cosmos. Someone said, sick hair, bro. Thanks, I just got out of the shower, so it's a little bit wet, but, we're slicking it back. But I think Mars Protocol is a very good project. So they just released their V2 white paper. I would check this out, and I would add that to the Excel that I was talking about before of upcoming Cosmos projects with Mars V2 launching. Looks like a cool project. We know it has massive backing, which is important, and it already has that big community back from the Terra Luna days. That's why the Kujira price exploded, because it already had that community. I see Mars Protocol as kind of like a similar play there. Secret Network is another play in the Cosmos ecosystem. It's already launched. And I think if you're going to invest in the privacy narrative, which you should have, or which you should be, sorry, for next cycle, you've got like 3 or 4 options. You've got your Moneros, you've got your Rose Oasis protocol, which has a privacy layer. You've got A0, which is kind of like a privacy permissionless L1 blockchain. And then you have Secret Protocol, which is also very privacy focused. So you've got a few options. I think Secret may be the best one of the lot. I'm torn to say that over A0 because I like A0, but I put Secret at least a very close second in order of where I would invest my money if I was going after the privacy narrative, which I am. So Secret becomes one of those projects that's built on Cosmos that I think, it has very good tech. It's down a lot from its lows. It probably will drop further. I don't think the lows are in. I'm sorry, but this is one we got to have on our list for when we are accumulating these projects, whether that be over the 6 month over a 6 month time horizon. However you choose to DCA, Secret Protocol is one definitely to look at. You've got to have at least one privacy blockchain in your portfolio. So just make that choice between Monero, Rose, A0, Secret. Make that choice. I think I'll choose Secret and A0, but I would also research that as part of your portfolio, because that is a very cool ecosystem and narrative to take to keep your eye on. And secret NFTs are also an interesting concept launched by Secret Network, which holders can choose to make verifiable ownership of their NFTs private. So private ownership NFTs, very cool. Kind of similar to what we've seen through Soulbound tokens, except with an added privacy layer. Quicksilver Zone is the 5th project that the DeFi investor points out. This looks like an interesting project to be as well. It's essentially a liquid staking platform. So similar to how we have Lido on Ethereum, similar to how we have Metapool on Nia, Quicksilver is that guy in the Atom ecosystem. So those are a few projects to have a look at, 3 of which you can't search on CoinGecko now, but you can add to your watch list and join their Discord. And Secret, Kujira, maybe even Mars Protocol, but I don't think so. You can add them to your Cosmos watch lists, which I would highly recommend doing. So what is happening with Cosmos 2.0? We've talked about the projects. I want to go through some of the major changes here, because they just released some major updates. So they had a proposal, which is the new vision for Cosmos Hub. This is the hub, the epicenter of the Cosmos ecosystem. These are the major changes that are going down here. they're introducing a new monetary system for Atom. This is the biggest change and the one you need to be aware of. Right now, Atom has a dynamic inflation rate of 7 to 20%, which is pegged to the bonded ratio. This is disincentivizing staking, aka securing the network. So it's incentivizing staking through offering an inflation rate to stakers for validating on Atom validators. What they are doing now is they're getting rid of this dynamic model, and they're going for a new design which has a fixed target issuance of 300k Atom per month, which eventually will be replaced by native protocol revenue. So they're going fully sustainable in the future, and they're going with a new fixed issuance. So issuance on Atom will now be less. So that is an improvement on the tokenomics side of Atom. That implementation, in combination with liquid staking, is going to get rid of the "but Atom inflates indefinitely" critics. So you have liquid staking now. You have that fixed inflation rate. And that kind of just gets rid of one of the headwinds, or at least one of the issues people did have with the Atom ecosystem. It helps fund the community pool, and it will also fuel hub-specific functionalities for the Cosmos hub. So that is a very cool update in the Cosmos ecosystem. Gnarly also went through some of the major upgrades here after number 29 of his thread. I don't want to go through too much of his thread today, but I'll go through the major points here. It's Atom 2.0. It's the renewed vision of Cosmos Hub, the new tokenomics of Cosmos Hub, so that they have a new design, they have a new feature with interchain security, which is quite cool. And the Cosmos Hub being that epicenter of Cosmos, having a new and revamped hub with new tokenomics is going to be very good for the ecosystem as a whole. So it has new interchain security initiatives. He says projects must find validators at inception, and to do so, they commonly issue highly inflationary tokens. This pushes some investors away. Now they're essentially pivoting to an ICS model, which will get rid of some of the risk from government attacks and help Cosmos on its final vision to achieve true decentralization. 25% of transaction fees are now going to be flowing back to Atom stakers, as the provider chain is receiving a portion of transaction fees and staking rewards. And the DeFi investor has a very big thread on all of this. Once again, I don't just want to make this video going through a bunch of threads. You guys have the master thread here, which is Gnarly's thread. That's got links to other threads where you can check out all the changes with 2.0. But the summary on all of that is that you're getting revamped tokenomics, you're getting a revamped security model from the Cosmos Hub, and also you're going to see some of those revenues start flowing back in terms of fee distribution to governance holders. So those are the three major changes. Highly recommend checking out those changes. I do have a quick hot tip for you guys, though. If you ever want to check out tokenomics of a project, this doesn't just apply to Atom. You can do so on Messari. Messari is like the greatest website ever for crypto research. And if you want to search any project, you just search it in the top corner. You search Atom, you click profile, you scroll down to token economics, you click on supply schedule or launch and token distribution, and they have all the data you could ever want on tokenomics. So where the initial supply was geared towards, what the seed price was, where the supply was broken down. We could see that 20% of Cosmos was given to founders, 80% went to investors. You can go to the supply schedule and see how much has been released. So we're currently in September 2022, and we could see that a large portion, over 85% of tokens have been released. Actually, 90% of tokens have been released. We have continuous inflation. I don't think this supply curve's updated for the new tokenomics, which it will, but we can see the supply curve here. And if you click on consensus, you can understand how it works a little bit better. And token usage will tell you what the use of the Atom token is. So very cool. And this doesn't just apply to Cosmos. You can use any project. For example, AVAX, you want to do the same thing, you can look at the supply schedule on Messari as well. So very nice little tip for you guys. Two other little bits and pieces with Cosmos, which I find are quite cool. Firstly, all the notes of the new Cosmos 2.0 change is on Delphi Intern's Twitter. As we saw, the Cosmos Hub upgrade, tokenomics upgrade, the Cosmos Stack upgrade. All of this is on Twitter, so that's a nice research for you guys. He did a very nice little summary of Cosmos. Cosmos 2.0 there for you guys. Another hot tip. Should I give two hot tips in one video? Why not? We're just speeding up the alpha per minute. I want this to become the most alpha per minute show on YouTube, at least in crypto. So if you're watching the show, you know at any point during the show, you're going to be hit with value bombs. This is a huge value bomb. Massive, massive value bomb. If you go to Santiment, it's a statistics website, app.santiment.net, and you scroll to their dashboard here. So if you go on the left and click screener, this is how you view where chains are being developed on. So if you click on developer development activity and you sort by development activity, I love how it's not loading now that I'm trying to give you the example. Come on, load. You can actually sort projects for where they are being developed on. I love how my laptop let me rank by development, but this is not letting me rank by. Here we go. It's just internet. Good old internet. So that's 30-day dev activity. Come on. Here we go. Woo, we did it. All right. So if you click on the development activity column here, you can sort by which chains are being more developed on. So we can see that right now, the number one leader for development activity, I'm going to scroll in, is Polkadot. Number 2 is Kusama. Number 3 is Cardano. Number 4 is Ethereum. Number 5 is Status. And number 6 is Cosmos, Filecoin, IOTA, Decentraland. This is the amount of commits. This is taken data from GitHub and it's put onto Sandbase, and that's the number of commits for the last 30 days. And it will show you where developers are developing. However, a caveat is this is just 30 days. Things change. There's events, there's incentives programs, there's hackathons. All these external factors influence the amount of 30-day development activity. So when you're looking at this and you see something like Status at number 5, or you see a project you've never heard of at number 6, that may just be because they have had a major event which has given them a short-term boost in development activity. So what you want to do to get a much better view of this is every single week, come onto Santiment, look at the chains, and update your own Excel list, or just keep a mental note, however you best want to do it, on which chains are being developed on the most. It's a little bit glitchy with loading, but eventually it does load. And you can actually start sorting your development activity every single week and get an idea for where protocols are developing. So I go on this every single week as well to kind of get a better view about where people are developing. And we know Cosmos is number 6, and it's been in the top 10. I can tell you through looking at this site many times over the last couple months, Cosmos has been in the top 10 for ages, because that is where a lot of developers want to invest. Sexy tips with Miles. Absolutely. Those are 2 big tips. Tokenomics, development activity. There we go. It finally loaded. Sometimes it's just got to reboot a little bit. So yeah, that's a nice tip for you guys. I want to keep a conversation going. I want to hang out with you guys for a little bit. Someone just said, is there any more being shown about your new portfolio? Yes. You guys know I've been building a portfolio. So my number one priority right now is investing for the next cycle and getting that amazing portfolio done, and building the best portfolio that I can possibly build, that includes small caps, that includes big caps, and has a very adjusted risk rating for my personal goals. So that's what I'm busy doing, and I'm going to be giving you guys that portfolio in little bits, because the problem is it's a big portfolio, and if I just give it to you, there's no real nuance and it doesn't really fit your needs. So what I'm going to do is once a week, I'm going to reveal 3 projects a week for the next few months, or 2 or 3 projects a week, go in depth on those projects and talk to you a little bit about what the alternatives are, how much you might want to weight them versus other holdings. So it's a bit more tailored to your needs. And that's how I'm going to do it. So make sure you're watching the show, because that could happen on any day. I won't announce what day it happens. I might announce that on my Twitter. So I might say I'm going through it on my Twitter, but I can be doing that at any moment. So make sure you tune into the show every day at 7:30 p.m. EST. I'm over on my Instagram now, though. I'm doing a live stream where I answer your questions. I have some questions, thoughts on AOS, some other questions like, did Ranfi Do Kwon, which I'm sure you really want to know the answer of. And we'll answer those questions in Instagram. So head over to my Instagram, link in the description to do so. Remember, if you follow me, I also follow some people back on the Instagram that show their support and actually follow my profile. So yeah, we'll pick up the discussion on anything you want to know over there. And until next time, peace out.